What's going on, YouTube? We have a new video for you today. It's going to be a little different of a tier list. We're ranking blessings on Dragon Quest Smash Grow. So let's get started. You know what to do.
Subscribe.
Alright, so first up on our tier list, you know what we'll do? We'll get rid of the one-time use items right away. These ones you only pick if you need them. Usually at the end of a run, you might need to use these items. Yggdrasil Bud, for instance, immediately revives all fallen party members. We have Pep Pop, slightly fills the coup de grace gauge, and medicine box. This one immediately restores 20% of the HP for the entire party. So I wouldn't recommend this at the beginning of your run, and usually if I have to, I would rather just reset the game, reset the run in general, because your energy or your ticket will get refunded anyways. The next ones that we can rank are these blessings specific for Gauntlet. First one up is this one. This is Warrior's Might. I always pick this one. Significantly increases damage, but it lowers your max HP. So you do have less life. I mean, ideally, you don't want to get hit. The best defense is a good offense. So I will pick that all day, every day. And then the next one that's Gauntlet specific is Crystal Vacuum. This is a waste of a blessing. Allows growth crystals to be collected from a larger area. You can rank this up to 3 times, so that's 3 blessings that you'll waste just to pick up crystals when you can just move and pick it up yourself. What we'll do is we'll save these enchantments at the very end. And enchantments are blessings that are tied to 3-star equipment, particularly 3-star weapons. So we'll save that for the very end. So the first boon would be Accelerate the Grace. Gain an increase in attack speed for 5 seconds after using your ult. I do like this one, but there's another version of increased attack speed that I prefer. We'll put this in B tier. The other attack speed blessing that I like a little bit more is this one, Avengers Assemble. Avengers Accelerate. Gain an increase in attack speed for 5 seconds when hit by an enemy. Even though I said earlier you don't want to get hit, yeah, I mean, you're going to get hit. If you have high defenses, sometimes you only take 1 or 2 damage, and always being able to attack faster, just bigger number, bigger DPS. Next up, we have Frizz Fireballs, Frizz Projectiles. Oh man, I picked this one. It's not that great. I want to rank it A tier. It's great for single target. Shoot, I'll put it in B tier. I actually made this tier list earlier, but what happened was I wasn't even recording my audio, and I put it on A tier. So I'm struggling because I know it's not that great. I will put it on B tier this time. Yeah. But the modifications for it can get good. Explosive projectiles. It makes the single target, the issue with Frizz projectiles being the single target, be AoE instead. Again, I'll put that in B tier. Homing Scroll. It increases the potency and makes the projectiles a bit stronger, and also has a little bit of knockback. I pick this pretty often because from what I've noticed, it also has a little bit knockback when you use boomerangs. I kind of want to put it in A. Especially if you use boomerangs a lot. This probably is in the lower side of A tier. Let's continue on with the projectiles. I lied. Oh no, yeah, there is one more. Poisonous projectiles. Still more single target damage. I kind of will put this in the same bracket as explosive projectiles. It's not bad for a single target if you're fighting a boss or something, but there's better choices. If you can stack Frizz projectiles up to level 6, along with one other blessing later on that I'll mention, seeing all the fireballs gets pretty nuts. So next up on the tier list, we will go with Rebel Rouser Spikes. This one right here. Earth infused spikes thrust from the ground when an enemy is defeated. This one, oh wow. I want to put it in S tier, but you can also get this from an item. A few of these blessings you can actually get acquired from the start from an item or from jewelry. This one, Frizz projectiles, I'm not sure if Crack Arrow is one of them. I know defenses also intermittent buff, but in terms of like picking it as a choice, I would probably put it in A tier. Yeah, I'd put it at top A tier. So what happens is when you kill a monster, it'll spawn an earthquake, killing other monsters. Very good for map control. When the enemy starts swarming you, it can get kind of overwhelming, but this will help clear the board. If you want to buff it up, you can have it kind of have a double strike, attack twice with barbed spikes. Spikes shred enemies with a follow-up strike. I do pick this because you automatically get this with that jewelry. I can't remember which one it was. So barbed spikes is a good, just to basically double the damage on Rebel Rouser spikes. Next up, we have Zap Sword. This one kind of falls in line similar to Rebel Rouser Spike in terms of AoE damage. This is great. I picked this a lot. It goes up to rank 6, I believe, yeah. A lightning infused sword falls from the sky in the final normal attack. If you increase the level of this, then it'll just be more lightning. With that said, we'll rank also Swordcraft Scroll. This one doubles the number of swords that falls on enemies. So this not only affects Zap Swords, it affects Damocles Sword that we'll get onto later, and Zapple Sword as well. S tier. Easy S tier. Next up, we have Healing Swords. Damocles Swords restore 2.5% on impact. So on your third strike, that's when you'll have the 2.5% heal, but it's subject to cooldown. It's not bad if you're building a tank build. You know what? I'm going to put this poisonous projectiles down. Good. Yeah, that's C tier. But healing swords, if you use melee a lot, metal claws, if you have Erdrick's sword or the flame sword, it's not bad. It's not bad. It could synergize with your build, yeah, for sure. Next up on the list, we'll stay on theme with swords. Explosive swords, C tier. After poisonous projectiles, yeah, I would put it in C tier. Basically because most players will have Zap Sword already acquired at start, and it seems like it attacks all enemies anyways, and it doesn't even feel like it does anything at all because it strikes, because you already strike a lot of enemies with Zap Sword or Zapple Sword. It's kind of redundant. So that's it for swords. We'll move on to Orbit Spheres. Is that what it's called? It's called Whoosh Spheres, excuse me. Gain 2 infused wind magic spheres that orbit your character. All of these, C tier. If I have no choice, I will pick the Whoosh Spheres just for more damage. Like if I were to have Medicine Box, Yggdrasil Bud, and Whoosh Spheres, then I would pick Whoosh Spheres, for instance. Pretty bad blessing overall. All these other augments to it don't really help it much. For instance, Centrifugal Scroll makes spheres orbit faster. Spheres inflict poison on impact. Healing Spheres is the only one that you could probably use out of all these augments. if you combine it with healing sword, then you can be a little bit more tanky, but it's still a bad skill. Alright, so we're done with orbs, done with spikes. We have a few more skills left. Intermittent buff. Intermittent buff periodically reduces damage taken for 5 seconds. I'll be honest, I don't really pick this up because it's automatic on one of the jewelries that I have. I think it's a bracelet or something like that. But I don't think I would take it either. But you do have reduced damage taken for 5 seconds. I'll put it above explosive swords. Plucky persistence reduces damage taken for 5 seconds after the final normal attack. Yeah, I'll put it above intermittent buff, but I don't see. Well, I mean, like, you know, if you were to combine it with healing swords, it would be okay. So after the final normal attack, then you'd both heal and you would have a shield up, but it still wouldn't be one of my top choices. Next up, we can go on with... Oh, you know what? I missed this. I missed this skill. This one is Decelerate Spikes. It modifies Robo Rouser Spikes so that it slows enemies when it triggers. When the spikes trigger. I'll put it on top of C tier. Next up, we have Rain of Blows. Doubles the number of normal attack hits. At first, I didn't really notice an increase in damage, but yeah, it does. It does about a 10% increase in damage, 10 to 15%. I do play with boomerangs a lot, so it is up top. Yeah, it's a tough choice. Yeah, Rain of Blows Blessing. It's pretty good. You can up to triple the number of attacks you do, and it's great for stunning bosses that are about to do their ult and instantly kill you or so. This will stun them a lot quicker. Not to mention the increase in damage. Scatter attack. So it'll do 2 more attacks diagonally behind you. It's not as good as... Well, I guess it is a different usage. It is A tier. It's still good. If you combine it with Boing later, it's mainly for projectile weapons. It's kind of hard to use with melee weapons. I don't see much of damage against enemies behind you when I'm using Crystal Claw. But if you're using a melee build, I would probably drop this down to B tier. So it's like high B, low A. Yeah, that's a good place to put it. Next up on the line is Attack Magnifier Blessing. So this skill increases the range of normal attacks. Again, I would use this mainly for projectile weapons. So we'll put this in high A tier. It's good for certain dungeons, particularly like hard difficulty, where you have to take less than 100 points of damage. You can hit them from further away. Next up on the list, we will go to Crack Arrows. I've heard some players actually enjoy the skill. I'm not a fan. Crack Arrows I'll put in... Shoot, I'll put Crack Arrows in C tier. Crack Arrows is good for some stages. I think Gauntlet or Trial, whenever the stage is super small, you can get a pretty good high score with it, but it's only for those super small stages that you're like in a small square box. Yeah, you can have it bounce around with another modifier here. Great arrows ricochet off walls a maximum of 2 times. So if you do have Crack Arrows, I would put that in a higher tier if you're in Gauntlet mode, maybe B tier, but you would have to get all its modifiers, all these other blessings as well. Decelerate arrows infuses great arrows with the power to slow enemies for a short period. C tier. Barbed arrows. Great arrows shred enemies with a follow-up strike. So double damage on your arrows. This includes crystal arrows, which we will get to next. So crystal arrows is a skill for... So right now we are in the enchantments for weapons, and you can kind of see where these weapons are ranked, at least for me, just by the enchantments themselves, whether they're usable or not. So crystal arrows are acquired at start, and they launch a lightning infused arrow that pierces enemies. Even though it's just one arrow, it targets enemies at least. With crack arrows, there's one arrow in front of you and then one arrow behind you, and most of the time that arrow behind you misses, or it doesn't hit anything, and it's a bit of a waste. It's a waste to me. And crystal arrows does a significant amount of damage, and the weapon itself is great. So you kind of don't even have a choice, but I will put this in B tier. I was wrong about the weapon being based on the enchantment. The weapon itself, the crystal claws, I would put in S tier. It's so good. It has a different playstyle compared to projectile weapons, especially the metal wing boomerang. Very different playstyle. You'll be taking hits, but in terms of damage, raw damage output, yeah, crystal claws to me is one of the top tiers, if not one of the best weapons. If you combine crystal claws with archery scroll, I think it does good damage. Still, B tier. It's not a high priority. Next up is Zapple Swords. We'll put this in front of Zap Swords. It's basically the same thing. You just have more lightning bolts. It looks bigger, I believe. But aside from that, it synergizes well with Zap Sword, so they do stack, and Swordcraft Scroll. If you have all these combined, oh my gosh. The board gets wiped pretty well with that and Rebel Rouser spikes. After that, you only need to focus on single target. Next up, we will rank Crackerjack, which I am a fan of. So this skill, acquired at quest start. This skill is tied to the Shiver Stick. Taking a hit triggers a close range icy counterattack that hits nearby enemies. So yeah, it counters with an ice attack. Just having like that free damage when you're using a melee character, you're inevitably gonna be hit. So I still like it, but in the lower B tiers, maybe in front of healing. Nope, in front of explosive. Yep, there you go. Speaking of explosive, our next blessing is Infernal Impact. This one is tied to the Fireblade weapon, to Fireblade, which also is a very good sword. Acquired at quest start, launches 2 powerful fire projectiles when an enemy is defeated. Again, if you have this, Rebel Rouser spikes, and Zapple Swords, yeah, you'll see a lot of fireballs flying everywhere pretty quickly. This one I'm a fan of, especially if you synergize with where is this? This projectile skill? I forgot what it was called. But this one right here. Yeah, Infernal Projectiles would put these above. I'll even put it above double attacks. So the next enchantment is Boing. Acquired at quest start, range normal attacks ricochet once upon impact and hit another enemy. Straight to S tier. But still before Infernal Might. If you're able to level up Boing, it ricochets again. The board is full of tornadoes of boomerangs with this, with scatter attack, with double attack, triple attack. Yeah, Metal Wing Boomerang is still S tier. It's not even close. We can stop with S tier for now. Next up is Dust Devil, and this is tied to the 3-star spear. So Dust Devil spawns tornadoes whenever your spikes trigger. It's additional damage on top of the spikes, and they themselves can trigger more spikes. The problem is the weapon itself is pretty bad, but the skill is okay. B tier. Next up, we have Dark Sword of Damocles. Oof. It is tied to Platinum Plumes. The final normal attack drops a Dark Infused Sword on enemies if they're affected by a status ailment. This just feels like Zap Sword, except it's Dark Element based. The enemy has to be affected by like poison, slow. That's pretty bad because it requires the enemy to have a status effect. That alone makes it very difficult to use. You have to have this poisonous fire projectile. What other options you can use aside from ulting with Platinum Plumes? Decelerate spikes from Rebel Rouser or decelerate arrows. So we'll just put that next to them actually, just because it requires that. I wouldn't pick this weapon up. I don't know, I would reroll. I'll be honest with you. Speaking of rerolling, the next weapon is Falcon Blade. Another enchantment. The blessing says conjure 2 wind fused spheres for 10 seconds after using an ult. Also, it increases your movement speed and grants immunity to movement and attack speed debuffs. Shoot, this one is C tier. On the low C tier. Well, mainly because Whoosh Spheres itself, it's always on. But Falcon's Favor, it only triggers when you use an ult, and it lasts for 10 seconds only. The movement speed and grants immunity to movement. The immunity to movement and attack speed debuffs just aren't important at this point in the meta. I mean, I tested it out on paralysis and also the frozen stages, and my character still gets frozen. Paralysis also still affects it, so like, what's the point of Falcon's Favor at this point? There's no use for it. Next is the skill for Liquid Metal Sword. This one is Adrenaline Rush. Acquired at quest start, and you gain an increase in attack speed for 5 seconds after the final normal attack. It's pretty good. The sword itself is great. Bottom of A tier. Being able to attack faster is always nice, and you can switch to a different weapon for that 5-second increase buff. And last is the Queen's Whip enchantment. Queen's Discipline adds a light infused attack when enemies are hit by a sword type blessing. The whip itself is kind of bad, but having light infusion on your sword type blessings is it's also dependent on the stage that you're running. You want to use it on a boss that's weak to light. I mean, if you have it on your third character, you don't really want to use the Queen's Whip, probably, maybe. But the blessing itself will trigger even when your other characters are using the weapon. And last but not least is Holy Water. Oh boy. This one is, oh my gosh, I regret picking this one up. So Holy Water is an event blessing. It's only tied to the Dragon Quest 1 event. You can see here, yeah, these blessings can only be used in event-specific quests. Periodically conjure a ward that reduces enemy movement speed. If you haven't done this event yet, you have the option of actually not getting it. This lady in the top right, next to this chest right here, the Holy Water vendor, oh my gosh. If you don't talk to her, you don't receive this blessing. And it's best if you don't talk to her because it'll dilute your pool with this skill, with this blessing. And you don't, well, for me, I don't want it, but I can see it being useful in the trials here, in the Green Dragon trial. But I haven't had a need to actually use it at all. It slows the movement speed of enemies, and you know, if you stack it with more slow, it'll be okay. Okay being the keyword. But if you think otherwise, let me know in the comments. I haven't seen anything really good with it. We'll put it above the crystal. Yeah, I haven't seen any player really use it well, but I guess, I don't know. If you have a video that you can show me, yeah, link it to me. Right, so that ends the tier list for blessings. Let me know what other type of videos you'd like to see, and I will see you guys next time.